To celebrate this fantastic 4 days, we are giving away 5 £50 free bets here at Betfred. It's dead simple. All you need to do is comment below with your nap of the meeting. So like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll pick 5 of you at random to win a £50 free bet. And all the usual Betfred terms and conditions apply. We're edging ever closer. We're into the final week of the countdown to the greatest show on turf, the Cheltenham Festival, and this is our 15th and final Road to Cheltenham show. We're going to be a new panel. Frankie Foster will join us later on. Do not worry. He's off sunning himself, getting himself ready for a fantastic 4 days. Joel is with us. We've got Aidan as well from last year after putting up a couple of big price winners, so we invited him back to try and put us in the direction of something similar. And we've also got Andrew Griffiths from our trading floor as well. He's going to give you a few ideas in terms of the market moves. I'll start with Joel though. We're getting close. I seem to say this every week. We're getting closer. Now, how excited are you right now?
I'm really excited. It's my daughter's 7th birthday and the fact I'm an industrial estate in Warrington. But I've said, love, don't worry about it. I'll be back for tea time and I'll come back next week with the cash, the Barbados cash. And we're following Aidan in this time. Well, what was it? Was it 430 to 1 double Aidan had last year?
Yeah.
We should have followed him in.
We should have.
All a once in a lifetime thing, so
yeah, well,
whether it'll happen the next year.
But so pressure's on now. Got to find two
yeah.
more. At least 2 more.
Yeah, two is easy. 2 big shots. 2 big shots. Sorry. 2 long shots. You'll have to cut that out. 2 long shots every year.
There'll be plenty of the form as well with the Guinness Village in full flow. And Andrew, obviously, the markets probably nowadays. I think the anti-post betting isn't what it used to be because kind of you're betting on them from the minute the Martin Pipes run. You're betting on them all for this next year anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of a different kettle of fish that it used to be a few years ago. We have a lot more non-runner, no bet now, which is from a lot earlier in the season. So that's kind of, I don't know, it's taken away a bit of the value that used to be out there in the anti-post markets, but it's still busy, it's still ticking over. We're still taking plenty of cash. People still have lots of opinions. There's still a few question marks with targets with horses this week, especially with the ground changing. The weather's so set fair till next week. So it'll be interesting, but yeah, we just can't wait to get started. The money will start rolling in, the excitement will build up, and it builds and builds every single day till we kick off next Tuesday.
You mentioned it. We are normally no bet, of course, on all 28 races at the Cheltenham Festival. We've got plenty of offers as well each day, which I'll talk about a little later on. But I'll start with you, Andrew, because you mentioned how the markets are nowadays. Give us an idea of, A, what has been strong in the market. And I'm talking about the run-up. I'm talking about over the last few months, especially, of course, more so in the last few weeks. But something that's been really strong, and also what punters aren't latched onto, what's been pretty weak and you don't see no interest in.
Well, I suppose the strongest horse all the way through, which is the standout. It's our worst result by a country mile, is Constitution Hill, which is interesting considering all the question marks that have been around him all year. That maybe people like me are a bit think we're clued up and think we have a bit of an idea. We're thinking, oh yeah, this is one that possibly is going to get chin this year with all the question marks. But punters have been completely the opposite. They've been backing it, continuously. I mean, it was as big as 9-2 at one point of the season. Now we're here a week away. It's sort of 8-11, 4-6, even with brighter days ahead in the race. So that is the one, we want to dodge. If we can get Constitution beat, then that'll be a good start on Tuesday.
Is it good for the sport in the case of, has he just got a following that people are backing him blind? Because of
what
what he's achieved already?
Yeah, because he's absolutely one of the greats, isn't he? He's like the sort of the best mates, the sort of Desies of these sort of great horses that come back. They're spectacular, they're good to watch, they get everyone excited. And almost the questions around him, it builds the hype. People question the trainer, is he doing the right thing? He flops in a workout, everyone thinks he's done and dusted, but then he comes back. And I think it's great for the sport. And to have the mayor taking him on next week, that's going to be the highlight of the festival for everyone. I think we're all looking forward to that.
Do you get pulled in when you lay 9-2?
Well, you know what I mean? That's the thing with these markets, 9-2 at the time. I mean, I wouldn't have been steaming in to take it. I mean, you'd be thinking, well, this isn't a great price even at that. But, people keep the faith. They love that horse. And they think 9-2 is a gift. And, come this time
It's
next
looking in
week,
a minute.
It's looking a good price now, but you never know what happened on the day.
Which one are you out to get?
Well, we're probably still out to get Constitution, 100%. I mean, even though, it's strong, we'll be looking to take that on. There are question marks. Tehupu, I think that's one to take on, definitely on the ground. I think the ground is looking like it's going to be pretty quick with the weather. I don't know how much water they're going to put on, but even if the ground is quickish by Friday, good ground, I mean, that is even a question mark for something like Galopin de Champs. You never know I always think with the Mullins horses, they want soft ground. He always says we want soft for our horses. And it's possible that that's not quite going to be the case. So we'll see what happens.
So they've been likes of Banbridge into it. Right, you've
absolutely.
set it up lovely. We're going to start with the feature on day one. It is, of course, the Champion Hurdle. Obviously, brighter days ahead. Brilliantly sporting decision from the O'Learys and Gordon Elliott to have a crack at Constitution Hill with her. And do you know what? With the £7, we've seen it with Annie Power, sort of Honeysuckle, with that £7 allowance and what she's done this year, I think I'll be siding with her, Joel.
I think Constitution Hill will go off odds against on the day. I genuinely do, and I think people will start going into brighter days ahead. You've seen all the previews that have been on YouTube, or everyone's gone to them. Everybody's like, oh, getting the mare's allowance, look what it did last time, blah, 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 whatever. And I think you're getting a gift on Constitution Hill. Look, we've seen Nikki Henderson come out with a gilet of death so many times, and the faxes and everything like that, and, we've got some bad news for you, and all this sort of stuff. And it is all soap opera down at Seven Barrows, but I think Constitution Hill, has not done anything wrong so far. People are comparing the horse to other great horses over the years, Isterbrack and whatever. I don't think we're there just yet, but goes and beats Brighter Days Ahead. Brilliant. If you take them Brighter Days Ahead and Lossy Mouth, maybe not. If it beats State Man again by 20 lengths, it's a bit pointless. I'm really chuffed the mare's in there, but I think Constitution Hill will have the mark. And the way I think it'll run, King of Kingsfield's going to go off from the front. Brighter Days Ahead, couple of lengths behind. Constitution Hill's going to be sitting there with Lossy Mouth, and I think that's perfect for Nico. I generally do.
Aidan, obviously you're known for your long shots. I think you might be struggling to get one in here, though.
This is
Winter
not
fog.
It's not any kind. Don't worry, I have a price in mind. Right, it's massive though. But it's not an each-way race. Any of the top three are too good, and even Stateman is too far clear of the rest to have any kind of interest in an each-way bet. But the thing with Brighter Days Ahead, you can only count a couple of times over the last 20, 30 years where horses have done that kind of performance and ever done it again. Like there's Apple's Jade, there's I've forgotten his Masterminded. They just don't. I try and think of someone that did, maybe other than Constitution Hill has done it twice, we'll say, at the Cheltenham Festival. It's really difficult to back up those type of performances, which makes even whatever it is 2-1 now. I mean, just going on history, the chances of her doing the similar type of performances.
Obviously, she got beat. Her only defeats come at the festival last year. There's that question mark as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, Andrew, I know you're talking about the ground. I mean, is the ground a question mark for? I just think the £7 allowance is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the £7 allowance is huge. We've seen that in the past. It's helped horses in these Grade 1 races a lot. The ground, I think, should probably be okay. I mean, the first day will probably be the softest it's going to be with the water they put on, so that's probably going to help a lot of these horses. Day one is going to suit everyone, hopefully. She's had a great season. There's really, looking at what she's done this year so far, there aren't that many chinks in her armour, whereas Constitution, they're possibly still there.
Is she the one you're pinning the hopes on to getting beat?
Yeah. Whether it will happen, who knows, but it should be a good race.
It should be. Right, that's the feature on day one. We're going to quickly move on to the feature on day two. We'll do all the features and then we'll get the guys' picks for the shoulder races. In the Champion Chase, we've got another Nicky Anderson short price favourite, of course. This is John Bon, and yet to win a festival race. And I've said this for the last 15 weeks. He's one of them horses. He's hard to warm to. His form is brilliant, but he's related to Duvan and he comes with all the big price tag, and he's just one of them that I think this year it's probably been his best season, but he's not getting any younger. But is this his best chance now to win at the festival, Joel?
Yeah, I've put he's had his best season. He's really matured. Nico's unbeaten on the horse. Every time Aidan Coleman pops up on a podcast or whatever, keeps saying that Cheltenham's not his track. But I'm looking down the list here, and I was desperate to take John Bon on, but I don't know what I'm taking John Bon on with. This is the problem. This has to be the year if I can't take John Bon on with anybody in this race. I'm desperate to lay. I'm desperate to take him on, but I can't find anything. So, would I put John Bon in the Acca? Maybe not. But I wouldn't be laying the horse.
So it's Constitution Hill, John Bon. I thought Frankie wasn't here.
Oh no, but well, look. Gaelic Warriors.
Tiapu Galloping de Champs.
Gaelic Warriors priced up in here. Ila France's priced up in here. Ila France will go
he's not
Ryanair,
going,
whatever. Marine National would be, if that went here, it'd be a lovely horse. Solness is in the race, priced up here at 15-2. Now, that might be a gift. Is this jockeys being stupid? They've been done twice from this horse that I'd never heard of 2 runs ago. And it got off from the front and they left the horse. Is that not a gift from the gods when you look at it at a price like that?
I mean, is he going to get taken on? They're going to go $1 million, aren't they? Although I'd love to have seen Le France in here. I'd have absolutely loved to have seen him in here. To remind me like the one-man kind of scenario. Anything at a price for you, Aidan, or do you think this is a favourite?
It's similar, but I'm more inclined to try something at a price than this. Just because there's negatives about basically everything. You get as far as... Solness hasn't much negatives this year, in fairness, right? But it's just not the type of bet. I feel I've missed the boat with Solness.
That would have been what, 200?
But I don't think he's not going to get away. Even if John Bon isn't 100%, he's not going to get like 10 or 12 lengths ahead of John Bon, I don't think, early in this. So he's not going to get away totally. If he does, though, on this course, this will suit a front runner. I mean, it's tight and fast. It's less than 2 miles. But I mean, I probably going to end up trying something like, there's 2 I'm interested in at real big prices, just because of the other negatives, even though there's a lot of decent horses in it. Calixios is decent on his day. It's hard to know what price he'll go off. Some of this I'll need a decent price. The one I'm most interested in, and I'm unsure he's going, like a lot of these I'm saying, is Blood Destiny. He at least is unexposed. When you take a little look back at his form from last year, it's littered with Spillane Tower, some good runs. I just think I quite liked his seasonal reappearance in Thurles, where William Mullins is a 2.5 mile race. It obviously didn't suit him, but obviously the time of when the race has been run suited, and he was meant to run last week before, but pulled out. If he turns up, I'm going to be interested, simply because he's unexposed, and we don't quite know how good he is yet, but his form, looking back now, looks pretty good. If he's the price, like he's up to kind of 66 to 1, it's a big price. Be kind of tempted. I'd be tempted. I would be kind of tempted with that. I think you need a big price though, because there's fairly
how many
negatives.
Short shots have been beaten? There's loads of them over the years.
It's been a bit of a graveyard.
There's
been plenty.
Duvan was 2 to 9, and
a lot can go wrong going that quick around a tight track like the old course in Cheltenham over.
I'm not one for looking at stats and doing that whole thing about where we need this, we need that, we need the other. But just looking through last night, you're going, I've been burnt some accas when you think they're good things.
Fred's going to want to get him in the book. You also get all odds on favourites in the book. Is this one that you'd want to keep a little bit wary of?
No. I think that's a good thing being a bookmaker, is you don't need to find the winner necessarily. You just need to get John Bon beat, and we'll have a few running for us. I think an interesting thing, you're just talking about the hot pots at the meeting and the multiples and all that, because there are quite a few. I'd say there's sort of a core 3 or 4 in the multis that we see every day, and John Bon is the least common in these multis. It seems that punters are they're sort of working their way with the hot pots, but they're moving around John Bon. They're not banking on him. So I think there are, punters are a bit wary of him. He hasn't done it on the big stage yet. He hasn't done it at Cheltenham. He's been close. He's got beaten by some good horses, but until they do it and prove it, then you've always got a chance of taking them on and possibly getting a result. So we'll be keeping our fingers crossed. But like you said earlier, Matt, this is his best chance of winning this race. It's a pretty thin field.
It is, and it's getting thinner.
Yeah, and it's getting thinner all the time. But, put a gun to my head, am I going to pile on at 4 to 5? Absolutely not. So, yeah, we'll throw the balls in the air and hope we get a result.
We'll be better 4 to 5 shots during the week, I am sure. I just want to recap some of the offers we've got as well. Andrew, obviously you're going to be at the forefront of it, giving out these offers throughout the week, and there's some absolute belters. Yeah,
there's some great ones to do. Plenty. You obviously know Fred loves to get stuck into his pushes. On the website, we'll have those at 11 a.m. every day. If you're in the shops, that's at 10:30. I'm sure we'll be pushing all the shorties, all the high-profile horses he will want to get stuck in and give punters some value. We've got an offer on every race that applies both sides. So we have sort of your free bet second races, your extra places, your super extra places, 10% cash boost winnings online, price boost. We're not running no bet at the moment, which is a great offer that runs up until the festival. And best odds guaranteed. That's from 8 a.m. in the shops. That's at Cheltenham, and That's online as well. So, yeah, plenty to get stuck into.
I'll be bringing you those pushes as well live from Cheltenham at 10:30 with four-time champion jockey, two-time Cheltenham Gold Cup winning pilot Richard Johnson as well. And of course, we'll hear from our ambassador John Juvenile Jr. as well throughout the week at Prestbury Park. We'll move on to Thursday. Of course, we're on to the new course, and the feature on St Patrick's Thursday is the Stays Hurdle. We heard from Andrew earlier. Obviously, we'll start with you now because this is one you're happy to take on, Tipu, and I'm in the same camp.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's, he won well last year, but he's he doesn't see the track that often, does he? Which I think he likes to go to the races mad fresh. But I'm probably going to keep banging this drum all week with the ground. I mean, I think he does want dig. That is when he performs at his best, when he gets some proper dig in the ground. And, Thursday could be good to soft in places, depending on what the clerk of the course does. And it's just a question mark at the price, isn't it? How effective he's going to be with those conditions. And, that isn't, in an ideal world, it would be a lot softer. And
unlike the Champion Chase Champion, you've got loads running for you as well. And obviously, Aidan, we're currently 6-1 bar the one. There's loads in there, good horses at massive prices that you must have cast your eye over.
I was going to say, this is like, waking up and getting excited with yourself, isn't it, for Aidan? You're looking at this and going, I'm not like the favourite.
Now would be my lay of the festival, I think. I don't get it at all. I think he might be the most overrated horse in training, maybe. I don't know. Because he's beaten the last couple of years. Like, he didn't win the year before last, when I can't really see any reason why he didn't win. It was against the old-timers back then. He beat similar horses last year, so all he's done is beat the last generation. But you'd be hopeful there's something good. I mean, I'm looking at a few. I was talking myself into Crambo just because he's had that one good run this year, but he's a big price. He's capable of it. You'd be interested in Mystical Power just to see, does he turn up for a start? Anyway, he's had a couple of bad runs, but Willie Mullen's well capable of, of turning things around. I just don't like it, particularly on good ground. I don't get. There's no way he's going off odds on. He surely can't.
You against him as well?
Yeah. I mean, class might get him through, but I'm with Aidan as far as I'm not sure the horse should be that price now. Last year, Langadam paid for the holiday. Last 2 years at 83 in Cheltenham. Old Langadam. I can't see that happening again this time. Stella Storia, you put up last year, didn't you? Which is a favourite of mine. But Nemean Lion, if Nemean Lion goes, won the last three and was beaten 4 starts ago by a very well handicapped Knickerbocker Glory, Skeltons. I think
Skeltons? Well handicapped.
Well, I don't know how that happened. I mean, it's the ulcers, the trick every week. But it looks really, really good. She's very good at coming on TV, Kerry Lee, and saying, I really fancy this horse. I think a couple of times ago, I think it was about 10-1 in the morning, she said, no, I really fancy this horse. And I think won a favourite as well. It might have been at Windsor. It might have been at Windsor.
It was at Windsor, yeah.
And she's really, really buzzing about the horse. It's delicate. I think it's got knee issues or whatever, so they've been minding it. So I got it between Nemean Lion, and I've got to have my £2.50 each way on Langadam, the just-in-case bet. You know what I mean? It's been dropped £2 this entire season.
Different horse, leaves on the trees, he's got a Guinness tent to run past.
Yeah.
As well.
There's all of that. What's the Goshen's been dropped about 7 stone, right? And Langadam's been dropped £2. So no, I'd go Nemean Lion each way. And you never know. And also, British horse.
Well, surely he can't win. British horse. Aidan?
Well, I mean, I don't like Tahipu, and Home by the Lee, he looks a lot better this year. So, I mean, he definitely has a chance, but God, he's not been great around Cheltenham, whether it's the course or that. I think this is 50-50 type of... The Wall Park is interesting. He reminds me of Sire de Burley. That time, he was 4th behind Crambo. Now, that's kind of half why I got interested in Crambo, because he wasn't catching Crambo as quick as it looked after I first watched the race. But there's a few to be interested. Bob Ollinger will like good ground, probably. I mean, I used to think of him as a soft ground. I don't think so. I think he likes good ground. So he'd be interested on this trip on good ground, whereas he wouldn't stay it on the soft that's been the last couple of years.
Okay, a few against the field. I'm a big fan of Lucky Place. I mean, we don't know if he stays, but there's only one place you're going to find out, and his form just keeps working out. He beat Gal Road, who then came out and won the Rel Kiel. Tried to give a stone to Golden Ace last year in a novice hurdle at Taunton, and then beat her quite convincingly at Ascot. I think it's gone under the radar. And obviously there's a question mark, but I say the ground, he's going to stay any time. 3 miles on good ground will be the time. I mean, there's loads in there against Tiapu, so you want to take him on. But is there anything that stands out to you, Andrew?
It's tricky. Lots of these horses that are in behind, if you'd gone back to Christmas time, they'd all be about 50 to 1. It's crazy, really. That's how much this market has changed. You know, Home by the Lee, I think that was 33. Lucky Place would have been a huge price. The Wall Park, any price you want. Rocky's Diamond, that was probably about 100 to 1. So it is a really interesting race. I think Aidan mentioned Mystical Power, which is a bit, I don't know if it will run. Looking at maybe some things, it looks like possibly they will tip up here, and it's just one of those ones which you don't quite know what it's going to do, and you're getting 20 to 1, so maybe that's worth a bit of a spin.
Yeah, he's run his 2 mile form, yeah.
Yeah.
This season's been a write-off so far, but obviously class last spring. Let's move on to the feature race the entire week. Then it is the blue ribbon, of course, the Cheltenham Gold Cup, the feature race of the week on the Friday. How long do we need to spend on this? Is it pretty simple? Does Galloping Deschamps canter to the start, and then for 3¼ miles just hack around and gallop up the hill to glory and obviously a place in history?
I've got my anxiety bracelet on. Fact or File should be running in this race. And I've still got a little suspicion that will happen now. It has to, and especially with the drying ground and what have you. Because there is nothing in this field to beat Galloping Deschamps. We've got 1 to 2 here. You'll probably get a boosted price on the day. There is nothing on paper, it's not run on paper, but there is nothing on paper that says this horse will get beat. Unless you put Fact or File in there on drying ground. So, and it's JP. I mean, he's a sporting guy. I don't know why. If Fact or File's not in there, I had Galloping Deschamps 1. And I thought, I don't even know if you put it in the list here. Long Presse, maybe second, and Monty Star third. But I'm pretty much guessing. Galloping Deschamps, give me a 10-length win. Goes off. I can't see the horse being beaten. I genuinely can't. It's a poor Gold Cup.
It is. It's probably the worst of the three. I know Andrew's kind of counting on the ground.
To be fair, Best Mate was beating what? Harbour Pilot and
Comanche Court.
Sir Rembrandt. Andrew Thornton, though, the legs were in. So I mean, that was an awful Gold Cup. But this is as bad to say you've got a standout favourite that should win unless it tips up.
I'll come to Andrew in a second. I mean, obviously, again, it's got a nice make-up to those of bigger prices. Is there anything, though, that you think can just get a bit of the scraps of the places at a massive price?
No, I'm in agreement about Fact or File. I have a sneaking suspicion I don't know how you wouldn't just send him here. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I just think he'll go here. And if ever Galloping Champs is going to get beat on good ground last day of the festival, it's the only chance. And Fact or File definitely has it. He definitely would have a chance, I think, on good ground. At Leopardstown last time, they tried staying back further, and then Galloping Champs got an easy lead. He kind of went after him. He gave up very quick as soon as he wasn't getting there. Anyway, he ended up in third, but he's most certainly the second best horse in that race. I just think he'll be more prominent, and on good ground, I don't think there'd be that much in it. Like that race at the beginning, if you look at Galloping Deschamps' farm on good ground, it's actually difficult to find a win there. Like it's a Punchestown race. He's been getting beaten in it every year. I know, he's been running the Gold Cup on soft ground, which would affect your Punchestown run. But still, I'm suspicious that Fact or File would be going for this. When they look at it, Monty Star doesn't look good enough. Corbett's Cross, I'm not sure. Grange West. Long Press is certainly the bet anyway. I mean, if he goes on the ground, he's been placed in this before, placed in King George. He's Grade 1 farm. He's better than most of the rest of them. I thought the 16.
Pulled up early and
he was. That had no effect. He drifted a bit after that. I would totally discount that.
I would as well.
Horses that run well in the Gold Cup tend to run well again. Placed horses can get placed in a number of years. Yeah. But the bet is Long Press each way. But I think Fact or File might end up going here. Do you know?
Yeah. If Fact or File goes, I'm all in with the drying ground. If Galloping Deschamps goes, it's one for the ACCA and maybe for the 10 lengths or whatever, because they want to put a show, won't they?
When you say, I think it's not going to be quick ground, is it?
No, it's not going to be quick. It's just probably a little bit quicker than he wants. I mean, that's the ideal. I mean, Galopin, in my mind, what he does is he goes out, he has his speed that he runs, and he keeps going, and he just grinds them into the ground, and the others just cut. As he's still going at the same speed, the others are all, falling out the back of the telly. That's what he's done at Leopardstown, and I don't know, the ground won't be ideal. I don't think Factify will turn up here. I don't see why they'd want to try and beat Galopin when they can be 6-4 for a Ryanair, because I know how Willie Mullins thinks. He just wants to win as many races as he can. So I think Factify will go to the Ryanair, and I think he'll probably win that race. He's got a better chance of winning that than of beating Galopin, even with the ground and things like that. So I don't see him turning up. Banbridge has a squeak, but he's going to take a personal best. He's going to have to run better than he did in the King George, and it's a different type of track. But the ground will be right up his alley. So, if he can hang on and still have a bit in the tank to maybe use a bit of a change of gear up the hill, if he still has enough petrol left, then he's got a squeak. But I don't know, the prices have it about right. I don't see too much value. If I had to have a bet, I'd be on the real whacker each way at a big price.
Right, okay. 4 championship races, 4 odds on favourites. Quick fire, yes or no? Constitution Hill, Joel.
Yes.
Andrew.
No.
Aidan.
No.
John Bond, Joel.
Yes.
Andrew.
No.
Aidan.
That's a toss-up.
It's nothing
I'm
to
going to
beat.
say no. Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Okay, I'll see where we're going here. Tiapu, Joel.
No.
Andrew.
No.
No.
Galloping des Champs, Joel.
Yes.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Unless Factor File goes.
Yes.
Yeah, either way. I'd
Right,
say,
so
yeah.
Galloping des Champs, unanimous. But it looks like it's going to be a good week for the bookies because the odds on
Yeah.
favourites aren't going
I was
in.
tempted to go with 4 no's, but
Let's run the rule over the novice hurdlers, and then obviously we've got the Supreme that kicks it all off on Tuesday, the Turners on Wednesday, Albert Bartlett as well. I mean, is this a division, Joel, that Willie Mullins has got dominated, or can you see any British success in the novice hurdlers?
You're probably better speaking to Aidan because he's he's the only Irish guy here. Is confidence high this year?
Well, I don't particularly. I'm not really a
You know,
flag
when you have
waving.
Mullins out,
Yeah.
there's in my
I mean,
head, there's Mullins.
You're
there's Gordon,
You're going to
there's
struggle
Henry.
in the Supreme for sure. Whatever about the other ones. I mean, it's not even Kopek the boards now. There's a bit of drama today with horses drifting and going in all 3 races. So
Is this your fault? Do you,
God
do you
help
do
anyone.
this to play with the
This
markets?
isn't
All
me,
those
this is the weather
accumulators.
gods.
Yeah.
All those accumulators from like after the DRF aren't looking so great now. As half those horses might be in different races, but even after Kopek the boards, you've got 2 kind of unexposed horses that I like, Work Ahead and Irancy in particular. I only watched. I hadn't seen. I don't watch an awful lot of daily racing. I watch weekend racing, But that Irancy was very impressive and beat a very decent horse that won twice since now over longer trips. But Irancy and Work Ahead, they have a lot of upside. I quite like the 2 of them. And Irancy jumps really well as well. So those 2, certainly the Supreme is going to be difficult. I do like Tripoli Flyer though.
I do as well.
And I tell
yeah.
you, there's a point I made and another one, but I don't see a lot of difference between the likes of Tripoli Flyer and the New Line in terms of the way they've won herd. The horses they've beat. I don't see a huge amount of difference. The New Line is very short in the Turners or whatever it's called at the moment, but I don't mind Tripoli Flyer, but he's a lot of good Irish horses to beat with upside. As I said, I like Work Ahead and Irancy.
I like Work Ahead, but obviously had that stat that Marine National absolutely obliterated about obviously the layoff.
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge.
Yeah. I'm going down here, and I keep scrolling until I get to Nigel's horse, Potter's Charm, and then more in Greatrex and whatever. I mean, this goes to the Irish, doesn't it? I did like Tripoli Flyer. Bad news for Fergal this morning with his accidental dope test. But no, I'd have a little.
So Potter's Charm's essentially going into this unbeaten now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially,
You
yeah.
backed it last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still going to get paid out.
I've had a few questions this morning on customer service.
I bet there was,
Yeah.
I bet there was.
Imagine that phone call.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, obviously he's free to take his chance, 6 Mile Bridge and the Turners. I mean, of the novices, which would be your... I know you like the Yellow Clay, don't you?
Yeah. Now, where would the Yellow Clay go? Because I think I put it up for the Turners originally, and I just thought it won the last 5, and that race at Nace where it won by 8 lengths, and it was really bad ground that day. But it's won on every ground, and it's won over 2-4, 2-6, it's over 2-5, no problem. I think it'll just grind it out, and I think it's really underappreciated horse.
I think you need a bit of speed to win the Turners, don't they? This is like generally, Hall of War, Istabrack, they've gone back to champion hurdles, so could he get outpaced in the Turners? Albert Bartlett,
that was another one.
Yeah.
He came back and won a champion hurdle. I think that's another one. Aidan just touched on a few horses looking a bit shaky, but Final Demand is one which everyone was thinking Turners, but I think they're starting to think we'll wait till the Friday now, and then once one horse starts moving around, then what's going to go in here, what's going to go there? It all starts.
Willie Mullins Bingo!
It is exactly Willie Mullins Bingo. It happens every year. We thought this year we were safe because it was all looking very, very stable, but then, you get closer to the actual event.
And the ground is a massive point. We used to work with you, and we always said about the ground how a massive effect, because these have been running deep ground all through the winter, and all of a sudden spring comes, different ground, strange results.
I generally think when Irish trainers come to Cheltenham and it's been tipping down, they're laughing their heads off. But when it's quick ground, that's not what their horses are bred for. They are proper Irish national hunt horses on the whole. So it does something like Final Demand, which probably a few people had down as a banker. Would you be putting your house on him, skip him round 2.5, on the old course? That's probably, I think, why they're leaning to Friday with a bit more of a stamina test.
Go on, give us a novice hurdler of the 3 races that you think will give you a good run for money.
I like the big Westerner in the Albert Bartlett. Yeah, I think he's good. I haven't got a massive view on the novice hurdles so far. I don't think I've really had a bet in those races, but I do think that's an interesting one. And then, we'll just see what you need to wait and see what's ending up where it's difficult at the moment.
Aidan?
Funnily enough, you mentioned Potter's Charm. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion. I was kind of hoping for a bigger price, maybe. Yeah. After losing the last, I have a sneaking suspicion he might get involved in whichever race he runs in.
Well, that's mine. I really like him. I've liked him all season. We've selling the Punters Guide all season. I put him up as an anti-pro. Then he got beat by 6 Mile Bridge. He was obviously off his head. So I could put a line through that. But they said they now Willie Twist and Davis has said they shouldn't have gone. They shouldn't have gone. It just looked like a nice pot, and he said after the hard race he had at Aintree winning a Grade 1, they should have put him away. So you put a line through that, and all of a sudden he was 7-1, and now he's 16-1. And don't forget, it's a good horse he's finished behind, and he was odds-on favourite to beat him. So 16-1 all of a sudden, and he was 7-1 after a race that he shouldn't have run in. He probably wasn't 100% off.
And the good thing is you get paid out now, don't you? Oh no, you don't.
No, you don't. Right, shut up. Novice hurdler.
Yellow clay.
Wherever he goes.
Since the start of the season, been mad on yellow clay. And still mad.
Okay, novice chasers. I'll start with you this time, Aidan. Novice chasers. I've got the Arc, I've got Madgeborough, odds-on favourite, sadly no Sergino. We've got Load of Sud in there. All of a sudden, the Arc went from being a match with Sergino and Madgeborough, Sergino out the way. A few others are starting to throw the hat into the ring. Obviously, Nick Anderson put in Django Bay. I don't know if, has Gavin Crummell decided about Only by Night yet?
Not sure yet.
Where she's going to go. So all of a sudden, there's going to be opposition to Madgeborough. And the way he jumped at Leopardstown, would that be a worry for you?
Not really, I don't think. I mean, he was kind of cute. He wasn't like what you'd see a lot of often overrated Arkle type horses where they're flying every fence. But he got in close a couple of times. He sorted himself out. Yeah, he's clever.
But he kind of get away with it at speed in an Arkle.
I just have a sneaking suspicion that even if he's not perfect for this, that he's still probably too good. Do you know what I mean? I think he has a bit in hand. He's only a 5-year-old. He's quite big. Once he's jumping cute enough. Now maybe the old course, the Arkle is a particular challenge. Do you know what I mean? And I would not be interested in backing anything in the Arkle at 1 to 2, no matter who it is. It's just, do you know what I mean? It's just that type of test.
Arkle?
Yeah, well, not over 2 miles. But I don't see a hell of a lot in it, to be honest. I actually think Touch Me Not will run well. I think he'll run well. I think if you want, the each-way shouts are gone because there's going to be 5 runners in it.
Could be 4.
Unfortunately. And I had been looking kind of, God, which will I go for? But look, it's too late now. Touch Me Not might surprise people. Load of Sod beat that in Sandown when Touch Me Not halved one of the fences in Sandown, the 3rd or 4th last. He didn't beat him by very far. And Touch Me Not will prefer better ground. And he's a front runner. I don't mind him in it. You know, he might be maybe a bit of value in the without or the forecast or something like that.
Well, I will show my workings. Arkle, Madgeborough, forecast, each way, Touch Me Not.
you
Show
go.
him, show him the camera.
Oh, sorry. I've also spelled Madgeborough wrong.
It's something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that.
All
but,
right,
you know,
then. So
it's
agreements
fine.
there. Any thoughts? Or even the Brown
I
advisory?
think the Arkle, if you want to each way bet, I'll do it now because I think that's going to cut up. That's going to be 5 runners at most.
So glad we got rid of the 2.5 miler.
Yeah, so Madgeborough, yeah, he looked like he was figuring it out last time to me. I think when he was over hurdles, he looked a chaser, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
That was very capable over hurdles.
Despite, didn't he?
Yeah, I think everything Mullins said last year was, whatever he does over hurdles is a bonus. And he still ran to such a high level. So he's a very exciting horse. And, if there's only 4 runners, maybe his jumping won't be under quite as much pressure as in a typical Arkle. So, yeah, everything looks in place for him there. And then we've only got 2 novice chasers, haven't we, this year?
Yeah.
It's that one and the RSA. I think, Ballyburn's probably the one to beat. Pretty boring, 2 favs. But, I think Ballyburn's figuring it out as well. So he should be tough to beat.
OK, then, Willie Mullins seems to have the novice chases completely and utterly cordoned off. What about the handicaps, though? Right, handicap hurdle time. Absurd in the county last year.
Yeah.
You going again?
Yeah, absolutely going again, for sure.
I think at the top of my head, back-to-back winners of the county. Is there any? Is there one? Can't think of
That's a
the top
good
of
question. I can't think of it.
I can't think
No,
of it.
it's a tough race to win.
I'll
one,
tell you
isn't
what
it?
there
Yeah.
is, though. I'll tell you what there is. There's plenty of horses that run well in it multiple times, though.
Yeah.
It's a particular race. It's like the Champion Hurdle is like that as well. There's very few races run at the pace with a field like that, so it does tend to suit. There's plenty of horses that have been run well in it multiple times, but I just think he's handicapped, Mark. He's gone up a few pounds, all right, but he beat Load of Sod relatively easily on ground that doesn't suit him last year. And Load of Sod was obviously, I'm sure the Skeltons thought they'd at least a stone in hand there. And it's proven he has, because he's won 5, 3 or 4 or something over fences.
Yeah.
So they did have a stone in hand, and he beat him really easily. And he hasn't run since, so he's gone up to 146. It's like £8 or something like that. But on good ground, I would think he'd be much better. I would have him down as in the top 5 or 6 hurdlers, non-handicap hurdlers. I think he's very fast. And I'm still interested in him. There is one more, though. This Batman Girac that I was interested in. He's a bit like an old one I had years ago, Wicklow Brave, in that he doesn't start and he's all sorts of problems, right? But Willie has entered him in the what's the thing on Saturday again? The Imperial Cup, because he's got a decent mark, and I wonder will he go for the county as well? He's one I'm watching now. He's actually not big enough price for me yet in the county. We don't know what he'll do. If he wins the Imperial Cup, he's very short anyway. I'm interested in him as well, but I don't think it matters. I think it's absurd. It's still a good few pounds clear, especially if it's on good ground.
I take you want to take the stand with the Skeltons and the handicap hurdles?
Oh yeah, it's too right. But I've made a note of, and I'd be interested to see what Aidan says about this. Jovis O'Brien's not been in the best form for a little while, but I was watching back this morning the Nürburgring. That's how you pronounce it, isn't it? Nürburgring, right? And I think award should probably go to JJ Slevin, Richard Egan, and Danny Mullins for their efforts or lack of the last 3 times. Protecting that mark. Leopardstown end of December, I watched that. It was 9th, beating 18 lengths. It drifted from 6 to 4, open 2 to 1, went out to 130 or whatever, and very little effort made. Protecting that mark, I think this has got to be one of the best handicapped horses. The only thing that is putting me off is the Joseph O'Brien form. But I think this is, it's borderline best bet of the meeting.
In the novice handicap chase?
Yeah.
When we're talking about the hurdles, but cheers for that jumping
Oh,
off.
sorry. I thought you'd moved on. I drifted off.
Didn't want to say anything.
I might as well.
We'll cut that bit out and add it when we go handicap chases.
Yeah.
I might as well back it up, though. I think you've landed on the best handicapped horse in the novice chasers.
Oh, I'm not talking about the
for
novices.
sure.
No, I'm talking about the chasers. No.
Yeah. Go on, yeah. We'll talk
Well,
about
said
the
something
chasers.
right, but just in the wrong place.
Yeah.
When we're on the chases, you can do the hurdles.
I'm doing it.
I'll ignore him. I'll just ignore him. Thanks for coming anyway.
Yeah, it's all right.
Bring back Frankie. I said about the Skeltons also. I know you like Be Aware.
Yeah, Be Aware.
I think Valgren's got a great chance in the county.
Yeah, be aware anybody's connected there, and I think the money's on for the Skeltons anywhere. He's Dan's been pretty open this time. There's been no BS around it, and he's pretty much said I think it's a 150's horse. And it's his best bet of the week, and I'll go with it. It's a race that obviously he likes to win, and I think, without sounding weird, I think he's doing it quite straight this year.
Okay. Yeah, so I like Vargram. I think they've got him down to marker 134, same as what Favewell ran it off, and of course they've got a good record, superb story, Moayed in it as well. So you always see what the Skeltons target at it, and I quite like Mercier as well in the Fred Winter. You were talking about.
You nicked that from me, and I went off Mercier. Why did you put that?
Well, he ran in the race that has produced 4 of the last 6 winners of the Fred Winter, and been French bred as well, who've also got a good record in it. I know Willie hasn't got the greatest record, but bang his head in Grade 1s, and then sticking into that race. Thought it was half interesting. Bacchanalian won it, not in the Fred Winter. He's in the Triumph, so I thought a marker 136.
I was given that real start of the season, wasn't I? And I said, look at this, and I was like, no, left it out, and then of course.
I think you get a good fun for your money anyway.
Yeah,
12, 14
you steamed it. You steamed in, and
I do like my stats.
Yeah.
I do like
Full
my
on stats.
Anything handicap hurdle-wise? Good money or?
Yeah, you just said one in the Fred Winter. I quite like Beyond Your Dreams. Talk about Joseph O'Brien here. I do understand about his form, but if there's one trainer who is good at targeting for when it matters, it's Joseph O'Brien. So I think with Cheltenham coming up, he'll have his horses right. And I think Beyond Your Dreams, it's got form with a total look from earlier in the season. Just watching that race back, I'll be pretty surprised if it didn't finish in front of Total Look. If they both end
Beyond
up
Your
there.
Dreams,
So Beyond Your Dreams is good. And I also like Ethical Diamond County Hurdle, which I think I don't know if it's
colours.
the same colours as Absurd. I don't know if they'll run both, but
they were probably disappointed with the +6 maybe.
Yeah, it might be a bit harsh. But I've had my eye on that one.
They've always just never really put it in.
That's an interesting one, but the way Absurd won that race last year, you couldn't rule that out.
Right, Joel. Handicap chasers. I believe you like one from Ireland, Joseph O'Brien, James.
Yeah, sticking over hurdles this time. Shut up. Just to recap, I thought I'm onto a good thing here. I thought you were all going to go, oh, fantastic, hit the bells. He's got one here, and then you just dismissed it.
Because you agree.
Oh God, yeah, I agree.
Is it been set up here or?
No, yes.
Or is it
I would not be worried about Joseph O'Brien's farm in the slightest. One thing he does do is at the Dublin Race Festival, he's won Grade 1s. He's more about the big meetings. He does not have many national entarts at all. But if you think that Nuremberg went and won the hardest handicap hurdle of the year by 7 or 8 lengths on the bright, absolutely expletive in here.
Yeah.
Handily won it, right? And now he's only a couple of pounds higher. He likes good ground. He's the best handicapped horse in that race for sure. We're not. He's not that big a price, but he could. That was any horse to win the Galway hurdle, and then be in a handicap chase to follow, and a few months later off a reasonable mark, has got to have a chance.
Yeah, I was really borderline. That material.
Any others?
Stencil.
Handicap chasers.
Gallopin de Champs. Honeysuckle. No, not really. No.
Nürburgring, Nürburgring. Aidan.
Yeah, I've got one thing that in the handicap chases that I'm going to be hoping Paul Nicholls, you're going to see him jumping around that parade ring. I think he has a few. He has a few that are well handicapped, and I'm probably not the only one that's been watching Ginny's Destiny anyway. For a start, front runners do well in that race. He's a touch of class. I thought the last day he went off in front. He was getting caught. Slowed down very quickly. I wouldn't be worried about it. I think he's handicapped well, and he's a class horse, and he'd be one of my better bets. Similarly, probably less obvious, but it's going by the price anyway. I don't mind Stay Away Faye in the Ultima. My type of form anyway. Pulled up. Perfect, right? But it's a big
Tony
price.
Martin style.
But this is another classy horse, and it's probably a good no bet play because Nicholls has that in the National. And he's a few this year now.
5,
he has a few horses that are going to be right at the bottom of the weights in National. But I don't think he'll send them to the Ultimate unless he's relatively ready to go. Why would you? You're preparing for the National. So at a big price, I like him. The other one I like as well is I came across yesterday. I hadn't realised he was even jumping fences. Kintara was second in the Pertemps last year.
Yeah.
He's got a good mark in that National. Yeah, he's got a very good something like that. He'd get in. Well, it's the National Hunt Chase. I think he'd get in. And that's a good mark. And his last run was kind of eye-catching. He got almost brought down to second last. But he looks at Dowers there to me. Now, Monmoral, who was certainly a fair bit well in there, only took out that length in the last like 10 yards. He had work to get past him. And considering he was in front, I quite like him now as well, Kintara. And hopefully we're watching Paul Nichols dancing around the parade ring a few times.
Andrew, handicap chase, any
there's a
interesting
few,
money
isn't there?
around
I mean,
yourself?
you look at Cheltenham now. There's so many handicaps. It's a bit almost like a bit like the Galway Festival or something. It's a bit, it's different to last year. But there are, I think, as a punter, you've got to be a bit careful because there's lots of horses that have lots of options. So, you know, it's quite difficult with a few horses to know exactly where they're gonna turn up. But I like a few. I like Whistle Stop Tour in the Ultima for Lucinda Russell. She's got a great record in that race. Correct Ramble obviously won that twice in a row.
This year as well,
and I think going back up to 3 miles, that'll really suit. I like Bustleton, Joseph O'Brien again.
Has that been smashed?
Yeah.
I think that's
Well, to be fair, Frankie
we talk about.
Frankie mentioned it about 3 months ago on the Road to Cheltenham.
Yeah, we ignored him.
66s.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it at face value, he's been running earlier in the season and he ran pretty poorly. But you know, I think there was a bigger picture happening, possibly looking ahead to the festival. So I think that will run a lot better. Had a bit of a prep over hurdles. I like My Mate Mozzie in the Grand Annual, Gavin Cromwell. I think that will go well if the ground's quick. And another Cromwell horse, the Company Sergeant, which is in a couple of races. But it looks like he's going to the plate. And I think he's very interesting. Because if there's anyone who can get them right, apart from my mate Joseph, it's Gav who has the magic touch. I mean, last year he took the mickey a little bit. I don't think anything will be quite as well handicapped as I know the way you're thinking, but I think he'll have a few pounds.
Great placer though, isn't it? You know, apart from
I mean, that was a bit of a
handicapped,
joke, that one, wasn't it? To be fair,
but Derek O'Connor on it as well. I like Haiti Calor in the National Chase. I know he's only short, but I can't believe Sean Bowen's never had a festival winner.
Yeah.
Neither's Fergal.
But Rebecca Curtis trains this.
You are? No, I'm just saying, neither's Fergal.
Yeah, but I think he's got a huge chance in that. And Mr. Coffee in the cross country.
You've nicked this one as well, because every time Mr. Coffee runs, I put it up. I say, whatever price it is.
Well, he never wins, does he?
It never wins. No, it's going to be a 5 furlong sprint at Turfentine or whatever. At Chartin, it'll win. It'll come second in a Grand National, whatever. It'll be in the frame. And that last run was, I thought, really eye-catching.
And he's
weighted with
Stumptown
to
turn it round.
Imagine that, your first win over fences. So, are they fences?
I don't think he's going to get in the
barrels?
Grand National. I don't think he's going to get in, so I think this is going to have to be.
I think Stumptown does look short, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think that'll go off a lot
It's
bigger
the wrong
than it is
favourite, I
now.
think.
Yeah.
I like Galvin in that now. And the ground is going to be good.
It's going to be good for him, yeah.
Galvin is going to be hard to beat, I think, in that.
Yeah,
His
it's a
mark
classy
is right
horse.
because, I mean, he was fourth in the Grand National last year on soft ground. I mean, I like him for the Grand National this year on hopefully good ground, but I don't know. He's been prepared for that race. He's run well.
What's your thought on the cross country? Do you like it? Some people hate it.
I love it. It's one of my favourite races, and I've kind of done well in it in the past
I have
as well. But usually with outsiders. But there's not really. There's enough hard. Like Bustleton is probably going. And again, we've missed the boat. Well, you haven't probably. I've missed the boat a bit on Bustleton. Like that hurdles run though was very good considering the horses in it, and he hates heavy ground. Yeah, and it unfortunately was too obvious because he was 25 to 1 whatever before that, and it just started to cut because it just made it look really obvious.
Kerry Nash was in bad ground, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he handled it, but I think it is.
He just prefers good ground. Yeah,
and you know, he runs. He's run well around the track, so yeah, it's a good race. I don't know. I think it's a good race as a punter because there are angles on it. I don't know if it's the highest quality race for the festival. I don't know, but it is. I always remember that horse Spot the Difference. I loved him. Back in the day.
JT McNamara.
Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic.
When Nina was riding, and JT and Katie Walsh.
Those horses that can go back and back. It's like age wasn't. It didn't matter anymore.
No, that's when I loved it. I loved it, and then you always used to look for Emmett Mullins or whatever. You know, run over. Yeah.
Ender.
Edna, that was the one. Yeah. It's a fella. I thought it was a bird. This Edna.
Right, we'll wrap up and get the boys' best bets shortly. But of course, Frankie isn't here with us. He's off sunning himself ready for a big week and getting himself prepared off in Bahrain. But he did stop off to give us his thoughts on the festival.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I'm sorry I can't be there with you, but I'm suited and booted from my kitchen. I can't wait. It's the best week of the year, isn't it? It's the one that we all wait for. It's the one that we all talk about for so long. And really, we just hope we can say, I told you so. The horses that we think are well handicapped or that we've been banging on about all season go and win. And hopefully we can make a few quid in the process. I'm sure we will. We had a good Cheltenham Festival last year, and you lads have done a good job of dissecting this year's racing. I'll throw my hat into the ring with my best bet of the week, my dirty double. And I have jotted down a couple of handicap shouts as well for viewers just to jot down. Come the Friday, you might welcome a 20 to 1 winner to head out and celebrate. So, my best bet of the week. Last year, it was Tia Hoopu. This year, he's a stayer. He's tough. He's classy. But he's over fences. It's Ballyburn in the Brown Advisory for Willie Mullins. He's got a strong field to compete against, but it's a field I'd describe as, gritty, tough. Dare I say even sloggers. That's a bit harsh, actually, isn't it? But the likes of Dancing City, Stella Story, Better Days Ahead, they're tough. But I just don't think they've got as much class as Ballyburn. So I think he can actually be really dominant in the Brown Advisory. He's my best bet of the week, and if I was to double him up for a dirty double, it would be with Galloping Deschamps. Two of Willie Mullins' chasing superstars. Ballyburn, Galloping Deschamps, rock solid for me at this year's festival. Now, a couple in the handicaps. Around 16 to 1, 20 to 1 for you to jot down. Quintara, if he runs in the National Hunt Chase, I think he's almost a forgotten horse. He was second in last year's attempts behind Montmorel. And okay, I say forgotten horse, he's probably just not been respected because he hasn't exactly taken to fences like a duck to water. But he was hampered last time out, and I think if he wasn't, he would have finished better than he did. He's a horse that races on and off the bridle. I think a slower pace, extended trip's going to suit him. He might be off the bridle turning for home, maybe on the first lap. But I think he'll be back on the bridle and rallying coming up the hill. Quintara for me in the National Hunt Chase. For the Grand Annual, I keep it simple with last year's third for Gavin Cromwell, Path de Rue. He's had a good season. He's won over course and distance. He was just beaten by King of PRS, stablemate last time, who will probably come and race against him in this. But he gave him over a stone last time. The weights won't be that different this time around. And Path de Rue, for me, I don't see why he's such a big price. He's consistent. He's got course form. He hasn't been hyped too much in the weights. I'd say he's going to be in the places again, and you never know, he might go one or two better if things fall his way. So Path de Rue in the Grand Annual, and then finally, to the Martin Pipe we go. All right, Kopek Demi has been battered, and Ruby Walsh, I think, has been quoted to say he might be a mid-150s horse, and if that's the case, there you go, he probably goes and wins. But he has kind of, made the market to have a bit of a crack at something each way, and Irish Panther caught my eye at the DRF. Finished third behind Stormheart, nice horse, and McLowry, progressive horse for Emmett Mullins, who's got a couple of handicap entries at the festival. He may run in the Pipe, but Irish Panther has been treated a bit more, a bit more reasonably by the handicapper, probably because he's not JP owned, Willie Mullins trained, and Paul Townend or Danny Mullins ridden. So I'd say he's in with quite a good shout again at around 16, something like that, as I'm recording today. This will change slightly maybe by the time you hear this because of the markets will solidify and some horses will drop out of certain handicap and then we'll know where they're going. But there's my three in handicaps. Best bet, Ballyburn. The one horse I want to win is Galloping Deschamps because it will be a moment in history. How many times does anyone ever get to see that they saw the horse win 3 consecutive Gold Cups? And you never know, lads, he might come back next year and make it 4. I can't wait. I'm from Cheltenham, so it's home for me, and it's actually where I got my first ever taste of horse racing. It's the week of the year, the race of the year, the Gold Cup, and I'll see you all on the track. Best of luck.
Yeah, great to hear from Frankie, and of course he'll be joining us every single day at the Cheltenham Festival, so you can get his thoughts daily with us here at Betfred. Right, it's Cheltenham, 28 races. Everyone loves the Lucky 15, the life-changing Lucky 15. I'm not sure if it'll be life-changing some of the prices, but I tell you what, I wouldn't mind a pound on these ones that we have got for you. So we'll go around the room. We'll start with Joel first. Give me your Lucky 15 for the festival.
Stencil in the Fred Winter for JP. All you've got to look at is the Compiègne form in France. Beat that Coeur d'Amour by 3 lengths, and it was a bridal job, and that horse has come out and won twice easily. And then, of course, the East India Dock stuff, and James Reevely is all over it, so I think that'll be my best bet of the meeting. We talked about Nürburgring.
Nürburgring.
Be aware, Coral Cup for Skeltons, and in the Martin Pipe, this is, I don't know what price we're looking at here now. The Martin Pipe, it's the probably will be a third or fourth string of Willie Mullins if it's in there. Bunting.
16-1.
Okay, really good hurdling debut at Limerick. You look at that juvenile hurdle form at the DRF, Cargeth, Stormheart and Madgeborough. It was beaten in the Triumph last year. Look, it's off what, 139 now. I think this is seriously overpriced for a WP Mullins horse. So that's mine. Bunting, Be Aware, Stencil, and
Nürburgring. Andrew, Lucky 15. Please.
Yeah, so I've gone for the handicap chase route on my Lucky 15. So we've got Whistle Stop Tour. That's in the Ultima. I think that's pretty solid. Bustleton, as I mentioned, in the cross country. My Mate Mozzie, Grand Annual. And then, the Company Sergeant, I think he'll run in the plate. So that would be the last leg.
4 handicap chasers.
Yeah,
wow,
that's pretty.
That'll be worth paying out.
Yeah, playing it safe.
Aidan.
Yeah, I have 4 handicaps as well. Absurd, anyway, for a start. Ginny's Destiny in the plate. Liam Swagger in the Fred Winter, if it's still called that. And Kintara in the National Hunt Chase.
Okay. I'll go for Haiti Calor in the National Hunt Chase for Rebecca Curtis and to give Sean Bowen a first festival win. Mr. Coffey, who's surely he's going to be in the frame in the cross country, and he's got that big turnaround of the weights, of course, with Stumptown. I know he never wins, but hopefully this is the day. Also for Nick Anderson, Lucky Place, I think it'll go very well. None of us like Tia Poe, so I'm with the Lucky Place in the Stayers Hurdle, and we end with Valgrand for the Skeltons, a race they love. Is the county hurdle. This has been the target for him since winning at the track back in October, and hopefully here's the 4th and final leg. Right, we'll get on naps and next best as well, but what about you guys watching? Get your naps in. Please like, subscribe and comment below, and we'll pick 5 of you at random for a £50 free bet to have on at the festival. So just comment below with your naps of the meeting, and say 5 of you will win a £50 free bet. You will not be having a £50 free bet. What would be your nap and next best of the festival?
I'm going against Aidan. I'm going to go Stencil in the Fred Winter. And I'm going to go Be Aware, Coral Cup.
Nap and next best, please, Andrew.
I can do different horses, right? I think.
Yeah.
So I think Factor File for me in the Ryanair. I think he will win. I think he'll run there and he will win. And in the bumper, I think Copacabana. I think that's the best one of Mullins's. So that's that'd be my next best.
Her name was Lola. Aidan?
Absurd is the nap again, and Ginny's Destiny in the plate.
Okay,
Well, each way.
Haiti Claw is my nap. I've been with him for a long time. And I think I'm going to go Brighter Days Ahead as my next best. I think she will beat Constitution Hill. At £7, I think is massive. And what is really looking like a match, you're getting 2-1 in it with a £7 pot. I'm starting to really warm to her chances. But Haiti Claw, I think, will be my best bet of the festival. Thank you, gents.
Yeah, cheers, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for the drinks. Must come again. Nice little spread you put on here at Betfred.
No expense spared.
You've said that to every client who's been in.
Thanks to Frankie for joining us as well from afar. So next week at the festival, we'll have all the thoughts of Frankie Foster. Myself, we're with Richard Johnson as well, getting the thoughts of the 4-time champion jockey and 2-time Cheltenham Gold Cup winning jockey, and of course John Joe Jr. as well. And we have got so many offers for you to enjoy what is the greatest show on turf.